Hey there, movers and shakers. Thank you for tuning again for week 3. Yes, week 3 of my 7-part series on getting unstuck and out of your rut in 2020. I want to thank you guys for joining in and coming to my channel, Move with Tee. Hopefully you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and or YouTube. We're under Move with Tee LLC. You can find us there. If you are following us, of course, thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you're not following, make sure that you click that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you can get updates for new content as it comes out every week. Once again, I do want to remind everybody that this is a blog that comes from my own personal experience and things that I want to share with you all on how to get unstuck and out of your rut for the new year and beyond. And once again, like I said, it is for entertainment purposes. So if you need to see a licensed professional, I do suggest that you do that. Outside of that, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And I guess we'll get on to what I think, what I feel, what I know, what's working for me that I want to share with you for 2020. So here we are in part 3 of how to get unstuck and out of your rut in 2020. Now, before we begin, if this is your first time tuning in, time number 1, numero uno, just make sure that you've watched parts 1 and 2 already, and then come back to part 3. So if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, go ahead and stop the video right now and go back and watch parts 1 and 2, and then come on back because part 3 will make way more sense after you've watched parts 1 and parts 2. So a quick recap for those of you who have been with me journeying for the last 2 weeks and now on to week 3. Yes, 3 weeks. So part 1 was stop doing what you're doing. And now we've stopped doing what we've been doing and we're trying to do something new, right? Yes. Yes. And part 2 covered re-examining your goals. Basically reevaluating where you are in your life. And I gave you some homework in part 2. So hopefully you have done your homework and answered those questions for yourself. Maybe written them down somewhere. Hopefully you don't just have them filed back in the back of your mind. But hopefully you've written them down somewhere where you can look at them and see them for the purpose of this video. Now, once again, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, stop. Rewind and go back to part 1 and 2. So here we are in part 3. And what are we doing with part 3? Like I said, we've stopped doing what we're doing. We're re-examining our goals. So in part 3, what we're going to do is we're going to map out a plan. Yes, we're going to map out a plan. You can do this right now while you're right here tuned in and you're chimed in seeing what's going on. Or you can wait and do it afterwards, after you watch the video and rewind it back to this part, and then you can start all over. I'm not going to give you a bunch of steps that you need to follow for mapping out the plan. But what is most important when mapping out a plan for what you want to do next is focus on what matters to you. So you really want to focus on what matters to you when you're setting your career goals, your personal goals, anything that's going on, any goals that you want to achieve. You want to make sure that you focus on what matters most to you. So I will say this video is going to be short and sweet. So just be prepared for that. But if you're working towards something that you love, if you're working towards something that envelops your passions, your gifts, your strengths, you're more likely to actually stick to that journey, stick to that plan. If you, for some reason, veer off course and you're working towards something that doesn't particularly align with your goals and what matters to you most, you're less likely to achieve it. And most certainly you'll almost end up stuck again. And then you have to go back to part 1 and start all over. And nobody wants to start all over, do we? So what we want to do, once again, we want to think about when we're making our plan, we want to think about the things that matter to us most. Those things that are our passions, our strengths, our gifts, all those things, all the magic that makes us who we are. Those are the things that you want to focus on. So choose goals that align with your innermost self. So who you are at your very core, when you're by yourself, when you're all alone, the things that you like to do. Think about those things, the things that make you strong when you're with your family, when you're with your friends, when you're at work and you're helping other people out. What are those things that make you who you are? What are those things that make you, your best self? Those are the things that you want to think about as you're making your goals, and try to implement your goals in ways that exemplify and magnify those things that shine brightest from you. And doing this will allow you to maximize your potential and decrease the likelihood of being stuck all over again. And like I said, none of us wants to be stuck all over again. We're already in week 3. We don't want to go back to week 1, do we? Nah, I don't think so. So you've done the work. You've stopped doing what you're doing. You're pushing it aside. You're reevaluating who you are. You're thinking about what you're going to be doing going forward. So now it's time to map out that plan. Map out the things that you want to do. Make sure those goals are realistic. Make sure that they align with who you are at your core. Make sure that they highlight your gifts, your passion, your strengths. That's what's going to make you successful in mapping out that plan. So I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this part 3, Getting Unstuck. Getting unstuck and out of your rut in 2020. Once again, this is part 3, map out a plan. If you have not seen parts 1 and 2, go back and revisit those, check them out. They're there for you. And once again, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You got 3 options for video watching. Check out just one social media channel or check out all 3. But just be sure to check out one of them and let me know your thoughts. Let me know how things are going for you. We'll be back on Monday with part 4, numero 4, on how to get unstuck and out of your rut in 2020. Until next time, movers and shakers, I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this week and coming back to visit the channel. My name is Tee of Move with Tee. Be happy, be healthy, be love, sé feliz. Sé salud, sé amor. Buenas noches. Good night.